We want to welcome Dr. Jessica Lautz. She is the Deputy Chief Economist and Vice President of Research at the National Association of Realtors. We're also very fortunate to have her at our Education Symposium a week ago. That was on September 16th. Welcome, Dr. Lautz.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was great being with you all in New Hampshire. Beautiful area of the country, but also really good event as well. And I chatted about just the difference in the market, the haves and the have-nots, the homeowners really being the winners in today's housing market, while those who are struggling to get into the market, first-time home buyers, are really being shut out because of housing affordability, continual increase in home prices, and higher than interest rates than we have seen in the last couple of years.
Yeah, so thank you for that sort of overview of what you spoke about. One thing, when we talk about the market in New Hampshire, we talk about it seems to be shifting. We talk about a softening market, yet prices don't seem to be softening yet. As I just was saying to you, we've had 67 now consecutive months of increases of month over same month prior year. So we had another record August in terms of price, $550,000 median price, which seems unheard of if we think back a few years. What do you make of this? I mean, our members feel a softening, but we don't see the price
Yeah.
decreases or stabilization.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is a different market than it was in 2020 and 2021. And to a certain extent, I feel like agents really felt a whiplash as interest rates went up. We know that homeowners decided to just stay put. And so there's fewer transactions among those making trades. But then at the same time, new home buyers, first-time home buyers, are being shut out of the market and they're being priced out of the home buying market because of this increase in home prices. As a result, there's just not enough inventory to go around. Builders have been reluctant to build with higher interest rates as well. They have to borrow to build. And so there hasn't been a ton of new housing inventory coming into the market, especially in New England. We know that home building is traditionally lower in that area of the country. And so with this increase in home prices, it's just really slowed things down, unfortunately, in today's housing market. And if we look at the nation as a whole, traditionally, we have about 5 million homes for sale that are sold within a calendar year. We've been averaging about 4 million homes for the last 2.5 years. So a much slower home sales market because of these interest rates, because of housing affordability, really grinding things to a halt.
And yet we do hear our members talk about this sort of softening effect.
Mhm.
And, the big question that we get, of course, is what's the top of the market? When is that going to
Mhm.
happen? No, nobody has a crystal ball. We don't know that. But what's your sense of that?
Well, I think one of the things that we're seeing is that home prices in some areas of the country have actually reverted, and we've actually seen declines, not huge declines, and certainly homeowners still have tons of housing equity. In your area of the country, though, it's just not happening, and we're still seeing home price increases. What I would say is that um, because of the housing equity that homeowners have, they can make a housing trade right now, and they're able to do so, and they're able to match these prices with the home that they're selling. This is really impacting those new home buyers more than anything. Even if interest rates came down a little bit, this would still be a very unaffordable market for many people, unfortunately, because of that rise in home prices.
Perfect segue to my final question, interest rates. The day after you were with us, the Fed dropped the rate for the first time this year, I think by a quarter point.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, I think there's a misunderstanding about what that means in terms of
Yeah.
the market. I think people equate interest rate drop with mortgage rate drop, and they sort of see this as a panacea for an increase in activity and more buyers coming to the market. What do you make of that?
Well, I think unfortunately, when we look at mortgage interest rates, it's not a one for one to the Fed funds rate. And we actually saw that right after the Fed cut the Fed funds rate, mortgage interest rates actually ticked up a little bit. And so it's really not something that is a direct result. Now, the market had been, there's been tons of fodder about the Fed cutting rates in September. And with that, mortgage interest rates actually proactively did drop. And they are right now at the lowest point if we take the last couple of weeks than they had been in the last year. And that's a good thing for home buyers. We have seen mortgage applications have actually increased pretty dramatically because people are coming off the sidelines and saying, hey, let me take another look. We also know that that's happening in conjunction with more housing inventory in the market too. So it's actually a pretty sweet spot for home buyers if they can afford the market, if they really are motivated. This might be a sweet spot before the market is really overwhelmed. And we could see that the Fed continues to cut rates as we move into 2026. This could have more impact on mortgage interest rates. They could dip down a little bit more. That's going to open the market. And so as we look at that sweet spot, right now might be it for people to really who are wanting to make that move to actively start searching.
Great. That's a great explanation. Dr. Jessica Lautz, thank you again for your time today. Thank you so much for being there at the symposium. Great feedback on your presentation. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.